Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hayden Raven, and tonight we'll be playing a game called Disturbed. I've never played this game before, but I was interested by the art style that I was prompted to see on Steam when I looked at the game. It is free, so why don't you guys give it a download? I don't know what it's like yet, but I know for a fact that they're working on a second one in progress if it's not already out. And if you guys like this video enough, maybe I'll give the second one a try. So buckle up your seatbelts. Let's get ready for, I believe, a point-and-click adventure kind of game. Now this is aimed at a darker horror kind of perspective. So let's just see what we have to. Let's see what this game has to offer. Let's get into it. Another dull day passes as you struggle to manage your failing farm. Your crops are beginning to wilt, and your cow is sick. Oh, that's pleasant. For some time, the land has been very quiet. The air has grown thick and foul. Each passing day, you feel more uncertain if things will ever return to how they were before. Perhaps it is up to you. You've made up your mind. You're going to do something about it. You stand in front of your humble home, pondering what you should do next. Go to the crops, go in the house, well, check on the crops. A path divides the crops, and you've labored so hard to prosper these past months. A penetrating odor reminds you that these plants are decaying away, and time is running short. Let's go to the pen. A toxic fume burns your nose as you enter the pen. Your poor cow lays lifeless on the ground as a growing blight slowly begins to consume her body. You feel sick to your stomach as you stand here, especially as you stare at the black mushrooms that dot the ground. Let's grab a mushroom. You kneel down and grab a mushroom. As you begin to rip it out of the ground, a cloud of spores spray from the mushroom. Your hands begins to burn and melt as you observe them. Slowly your body shrivels up into a dark, moist consistency as the poison spreads. You die, eventually after crawling about on the ground. Your adventure ends here. Achievement. Those are some serious shrooms. Wow. Okay. Good start. Grab the things that look deadly because they most likely are. Alright, we'll skip this. Let's go back to the crops. And instead of going to we'll go back to the pen. We'll choose a different option. Inspect the water. You inspect the water, looking for anything abnormal. You notice that the water has a dark consistency to it. Dropping a stone into it, black particles form from the bottom, swirl about like a thunderstorm. Your face shrivels in disgust. Yeah, I would too. No, we're not going to grab the mushroom because those are some serious shrooms. That path divides. Let's follow the path. You continue down the trail for a while until you see a cave off in the distance. You pause, questioning if there could be something helpful in there. Let's go into the cave. Just to go into the cave, because I feel like a giant something might come after us. There's a faint whistle from the wind passing between the rocks. The temperature significantly cools as you enter the cave. You notice that there is a different smell, but you welcome it, comparing it to the deathly blight found outside. Let's go further into the cave. Before you take a next step, a large bear emerges from the darkness. You realize that you've made a terrible mistake even thinking that something helpful can be in here. I'm gonna fight the bear. You scan the ground and notice that there are numerous rocks you can grab and throw at the bear. You begin to do so as the bear approaches you. One after the other, you throw the rocks as hard as you can because you know bears can run 40-some miles. The bear charges at you. You bend over to grab another rock, tackling you to the ground. The bear bites into your neck. Your body quickly goes limp, and you die. Your adventure ends here. Scratch another off the list. This game is just going to be about how many times I can find a way to die. This is fantastic. I already love this game. This time we'll run away. The moment you turn to run, the bear roars with a deep growl, shaking the loose stones about the cave. All you can think about is making it back home in one piece. Well, you make it to the trail, then the bear catches up with you, tackling you to the ground. You scream in pain as the bear rips you apart. Your adventure ends here. Again, death by bear. Let's continue down the path and entirely avoid the bear cave. You come to a stop as you stumble upon a broken wagon. And inspect the wagon. You look about the mess to find bits of food and clothes scattered about the scene. You notice a key on the ground during your search. You pick up the key and continue on your way. After what felt like an hour or two, you reach a bridge. Nearby the path is a small shack similar to the house you have on the farm. The man that lives here is the kind of fellow that, from what you recall, maybe he's home. Let's inspect the shack. You walk towards the structure and knock on the door. You scratch the back of your head, figuring that the person that lives here is currently occupied, if not elsewhere. Remember picking up a key from the wagon. You use it on the door unlocks. You decide to help yourself in. Yeah, just welcome to my home. Observing the empty room, you realize something terrible must have taken place here. The room is a wreck, just like the wagon. You're overcome with fears. You think the man that used to dwell here. Every one of my instincts is telling me not to open the trapdoor, so I'm going to do that. You observe the trapdoor and notice a lock keeping it closed. With the key, you unlock the hatch and get it open. Without thinking, travel downward. Oh my goodness. Walking down the steps leading below, the air attacks your body with a piercing cold. You notice there's immediately a woman that's chained to the wall. She doesn't seem to notice you. As you study her, you feel darkness surrounding you as you stay in this awful place. Talk to the woman. Maybe she needs help. You tremble as you try to form words in your mouth. You there. Let me out of here. The pressure of such demand makes you freeze. You take a moment to think about the situation before you respond. What got you locked up to begin with? You'll never believe me, even if I told you the truth. Something brought you here. Please have mercy on me. I don't want to decline and end this, but I don't want to release her immediately. Let me decline first and see what I can do about it. I will not. No, don't go. With nothing else to interact with, you make your way up the stairs. As you exit, you can hear the woman laugh behind you. The voice causes the shack to shake. You leave the shack as fast as you could. You leave the shack and cross the bridge behind you before something bad happens. Across the bridge safely, continue down the trail. After all that has happened, you feel that you should take a moment to rest. You find a spot under a tree and sit down. Getting comfortable, you tilt your head back against the tree and gaze into the sky. I'm not going to sleep quite yet. As you pick up the grass blades in your reach, the ground begins to shake before you can get up. The roots from below sprout up on the ground and wrap around your legs. You turn around to see a large angry face looking back at you. Your jaw drops in horror. No sound or scream escapes your tongue as the tightening grips of the roots squeeze what air is left from out of your body. Your adventure ends here. Nature will rise against you achievement. Great! Cheese and crackers. This is definitely interesting. I love these kinds of games. They remind me of the pick your own adventure books from when you were a child. This time I'll go into the shed. You attempt to open the shed door, but the door won't budge. You remember locking it some time ago, but you can't remember what you did with the key. Well, we'll go in the house then and search for it. Entering the house, you feel a subtle uneasiness as if growing light outside has penetrated the walls of your safe haven. From what you see, however, everything is the same as you left it. Perhaps this may be a good time just to lay in bed and wish that your problems will just go away. You fight the notion, but the temptation is still there. It's every day in my life just to stay in bed and never leave. I'll lay in bed. You lay in bed and fall asleep to the light sound of wind blowing against the grass. You begin to hear whispers and chants, but you can't make anything of it. An image appears before you, a stone, glowing as if it were alive. The chants get louder, as your visions grow in more detail. You reach towards the stone with your hand. As your fingers make contact, a clash of thunder rattles around you. Your clothing and skin start to flake away like dust in the wind. The particles flow into the stone, sapping the life from your body. You feel pain you've never experienced before. Fear begins to flood over you. You suddenly see yourself laying in bed, never to wake again. Your adventure ends here. I am your nightmare. Okay, that's my achievement for that. Open the chest. You open the chest and find nothing more than a pile of papers. It seems you have less valuables than you anticipated. You close the chest. Well, no wonder. I'm just going about. Read in your journal. Dear journal. Another usual day on the farm. The crops are growing with good health. Bethane is also doing quite well. Never disappointed with the milk she provides. If things continue to go well, I may be able to invest in more animals. A farmer can Only be so social with a cow. Dear Journal, today has been an unfortunate day. Somebody broke into my shed and stole some things. I usually don't mind if someone steals a bite to eat from the garden, but to take my equipment? Well, I put a lock on the door and hid the key. Nobody will ever get into my stuff again. Dear Journal, I woke one night to a foul smell I have never come across before. I took a step outside to see what I could find, but I found nothing after searching about the farm. Whatever it is, it must be bad. I should make a trip into the city to see what this is about. Okay. I guess we'll go back outside. So there appears to be nothing else I can do. Go to the crops. We'll follow the path. Continue down the path. I'm not going to go into the house this time. I'm not going to be completely exploitative. I'm just going to cross the bridge. I'm going to skip the scary lady and take a nap under the tree. Your eyes close and your body relaxes. You fall asleep within seconds. As your mind wanders, you see a blurry image. Details emerge as you gaze. You wonder who this might be. That feeling then overcomes you. You realize who this is. You try to wake up yourself. You wake up, jump to your feet, look about yourself and your surroundings. All seems well. You can't help but feel fearful that something bad will happen to you if you stay here. Moving forward seems like the only logical option now. Well, good. You reach a point where the trail splits into two paths. Which shall you go? I'm right-handed, so I'll go left. After continuing down the path for some time, you come to a stop. You notice that there is some sort of trail that leads through with the grass up toward a nearby hill. If you had not stopped, you probably would have never noticed. Which way do you go? Trail into the grass. I'm going to follow the trail into the grass. Following this a subtle trail into the grass, you stumble upon what looks like a grave. Inspect the grave. You approach the grave. You look at the sword with intrigue. Before you can touch the sword, a ghostly figure appears before you. You freeze before the apparition. The sword, may I have it? The blade is cursed. I am bound here by the pain of my past. If you desire the sword, free me from it. You slowly motion for the sword. I don't want the sword. Fool! Only something in pure essence can free me. A rare hope, like a flower found in darkness. Back away from the sword. You listen to the specter and leave the sword. The figure fades out of view. Of pure essence. I wonder what that could be. You pause to see that there's a lake nearby. The trail continues on to your right. We'll go inspect the lake. You step near the lake and look down into it. Resting underwater is an orb of some sort, sitting at the bottom of the lake. There's something strange about it. As if it were calling to you. Dive in, why not? You close your eyes and jump into the lake. Your eyes open to see the stone sitting before you. You start to make your way toward it. That's a derp fish. That's a derp fish. A large fish comes into view. It quickly notices you with its mouth stretched open. You try to leave for the surface, but the fish catches up to you. You quickly find yourself helpless before the creature. You close your eyes as the giant fish rips your body apart with its teeth. You die a very painful death. Your adventure ends here. Don't need a fishing permit. Great, wonderful. I really like this game. It's just it's dumb. It's fun. It's fun. I'm gonna skip this for you guys, and I'll show you something new when I get. So we've reached this fork in the road. So this time we'll go right, and we'll see what happens. We reach the end of the pathway. In the distance is a tower looking over the area. A gate secures passage to the area with a wall around the property. Also of interest, there's a tree that has a hole carved into it. And inspect the tree. You approach the tree and notice the hole is big enough to fit your hand in it. You look and see something shiny in the hole as if it were metal. Feeling around with your hand, you find 3 knobs. One on the right, one center in the middle, and one on the left. I'm going to go ahead and press the knobs. Press the middle knob. Press the right knob. Press the left. The knobs lock in place. You wait for a moment, but nothing happens. It must be some sort of combination. I'll go look for the combination elsewhere. Go to the gate. Ah, this is from the start screen. You approach the gate cautiously. Enter. Standing before the tower, your heart begins to sink. There's no doubt the birthplace of the spreading plague. There's a fountain before you, with statues on the right and left. Inspect the fountain. There's a dark haze about the fountain. The water is black, and smell burns with every breath. You feel a slight pull toward the fountain as if it were calling for something. Inspect the statue on the left. You see an old statue of an angel that has been consumed by vines of thorns. The angel is holding a book in one hand and the other with one finger pointed toward the sky. You feel it best to leave the statue alone. Yeah, I would agree. See the statue on the right. Before you stands an old angel statue and is broke in many areas, with one hand of the angel holding some sort of bowl while the other hand is hovering over the bowl. You notice that there's only 2 remaining fingers on the angel's other hand. It feels as though you should keep your distance and just observe the statue. Yes, I would feel the same way. Enter the tower. You approach the door. As you reach for the doorknob, an invisible barrier stops you. It must be some sort of magic. I would assume some sort of magic with living trees, water, and other areas of nastiness. So we'll go back to the left, and we're not going to go into the dirtfish. Continue down the path. Because wells always end well. Well. You peer down the well. Other than the evident water at the bottom, there's a coin resting against the wall of the well. If possible, you feel as you should go down and take the coin. I'm going to leave the coin. Continue onward. I do want to get where we're supposed to be going. Walking over the hills of grass and grain, you reach the walls of A.E.A.S.B. Several times a year, you come to trade goods from the farm. You discover the plague that has spread to your farm has also spread all the way out here. The path before you is overrun with blight. I wonder what that is exactly. You've come a long way, and don't desire to turn back now. You march forward into a tainted soil. Before you can realize what happened, you sink completely under the ill soil. Darkness consumes you, and your lungs struggle for air. Your body burns in pain as you suffocate and die. Your adventure ends here. It was all for naught. Really? Let me try this one more time, guys. I'm sorry. This time, I inspected the wagon. I got the key. One of the only things left to do is go back in and perhaps free the lady, but I feel like I'll just get another death achievement. Inspect the book. Pick up and start flipping through the pages. You discover that it is this journal. Reading a passage or two you can't hurt. Today's trading went smoothly, thank goodness. What I am thrilled most about, however, is one of my buddies mentioned to me at the conclusion of our day. Apparently there's a pond nearby that has some of the biggest fish in the region. With a good catch, it can make enough to move things forward. I was caught off guard when he mentioned that nobody has been able to catch anything from there. I guess your typical fishing rod won't do the trick, but what can be done about it then? Something to be intrigued about, I suppose. These past couple of weeks have been really rough for me. My trading business has gone under, and I've lost nearly everything I own. This has pushed me to extremes, but it can't be helped now. I'm leaving this place forever, never to return. The land is dying, and there is nothing but darkness here. Anyone reading this should leave while they can. You can't find a name to give this man, but regardless of the name, you got chills running down your spine. Yes, I do. Open the trapdoor. Talk to the woman. Yes, she laughs. Free the woman. You approach the woman and unlock the shackles that bind her. As her arms become free, she moans in pain. Oh, thank you so much. The woman struggles to regain her strength, but starts to stand up on her own. She gets up, she turns towards you. I will now do you a favor. What seemed to be the face of a helpless woman disappears as a horrible image manifests itself before you. You feel the chilling grip of bone hands lock onto your arms, energy flees from her body, and you fall to your knees. You feel the essence of your life slip away as everything goes black. It's unfortunate that your journey must end here. The damsel in distress. Wonderful. Fool, only something of pure essence can free me, a rare hope, like a flower found in darkness. Grab the sword. You reach for the sword before you can lay a finger on it, the spirit grabs your arm. A A sharp pain flows over your body and your flesh melts off of your bones. The fragments remain, fall to the ground. Your adventure ends here. Cursed blade. Great. So another achievement of death. It's the stone wall. With a single knock on your head, you lose all consciousness of your accident. With a splash, you fall into the water, your body sinks effortlessly, and you drown without realizing it. Your adventure ends here. Oh, shiny achievement. I don't know exactly what to do because there's no sequence that I found for those tree knobs. I do like the art style of this game. It's very simply drawn. It's a very easy game just to get enveloped in. And it's interesting. It puts you in a different universe. It's a good, refreshing game. It's very nice. I will give it props for that. Go down the path, continue on, go back. There's no way to reach the city. Left, left, middle. Left, left, right. Middle, middle, right. Middle, middle, left. Right, right, middle. Right, right, left. We got it. You hear the rumbling of rocks as the ground starts to shift underneath you. Everything goes dark and you sink below the surface. The hole above you seals up, trapping you underground. You find yourself with no evident way out but the path before you into the darkness. Your only choice is to move forward. You see 3 separate paths within the wall of the cavern. Which path do you choose? I'll try the save feature this time just so that I won't have to do all that backtracking again. I know this isn't the right one, but we'll go forward. You cautiously step forward into the darkness. You come to a divide. Which way do you go? We'll go right. You hear a subtle echo of shifting rocks behind you. An eye appears before you, and its gaze pierces the darkness. Before you can do anything, tentacles burst from the ground and grip your body. It pulls you about. You resist as much as you can, but not sure what you can do, you continue to resist until you can think of something. Your body begins to grow weak as your strength burns away. You suddenly feel yourself pulled to the ground and you are dragged about like a rag doll. It is not long before the creature devours your body, leaving nothing behind. Your adventure ends here. You got roped by a roper. Alright. This time we'll go right. The passageway divides before you. Where do you go? We'll go right again. The passageway soon ends with an enlarged mushroom sitting in front of you. A steady river of water flows between you and the mushroom. This time I'm not going to inspect the mushroom, but I'll go left. You walk forward into the dark, unsure of what lies beyond. 2 paths you may go. Which do you choose? Well, righty-tighty. As you make your way forward, you discover a large cavern. An old-looking ship rests against the edge of the lake with debris scattered about in the surrounding areas. Inspect the ship. You cautiously walk down towards the ship. The air is chilling and you fear it won't be a good idea to stay too long. The possibility of discovering something that can help you drives you to explore. You climb aboard the ship. As you take a moment to observe your surroundings, you are the only welcomed by the trickle of water brushing against the wood of the ship. Move about to see where you can go. Every footstep you take feels heavy as you hear the sound of wood cracking under your feet. You feel the ship has been here for quite some time. You explore under the deck of the ship. Nothing but the sound of your footsteps bounce about the structure of the ship. From one room to the other, you come to discover a kitchen. Although there is nothing unique about it, you feel as though you should take a moment to inspect it. Inspect the drawers. You pull one after the other, finding that they have been emptied. Dust spreads about the air to disturb their rest. Checking underneath, you discover a rusty knife resting on the floor. You find that there are plenty of hardened rat droppings dotting the edge of the wall. You take the knife in hopes that you might defend yourself with it. Inspect the oven. You see a lone pot resting upon the dusty stovetop. You gaze downward and open the oven door. Nothing but ash fills the oven chamber. You close the oven door. And we're going to move on. You continue your lonely tour of the ship only to find that there's nothing of use or value. You make your way back to the deck and decide to continue your search. Again, you find nothing much but empty rooms left to remain in the dark solitude. You discover a door with fancy markings about the woodwork. Perhaps this is where the captain resided. You discover the room of the captain. Unlike the other parts of the ship, everything seems to have been left alone in this room. Before you rests an old wooden desk with papers and assumed belongings of the captain. There's a small bed off near the corner of the room, and some chairs in the other. You have the feeling deep down that you shouldn't take anything. Other than the lamp and other objects, there's a small stack of papers in contrast to a lone paper resting by itself. Approaching the desk, you begin to inspect the papers resting on the desk. I'm going to go ahead and leave because I don't want to die. I want to find the narrative of this story. Seeing that there's little left, you take your leave. One under your feet crackle as you exit the vessel. Good. Make your way back to where the tunnel divides. I felt like that was a cursed object and I didn't want to die again. Which way do you go? Go right. Go back. Go left. You move forward into the darkness. You cautiously make your way through the darkness. You come to a split in the path. Which way do you go? We'll go right. You struggle forward as the way before you becomes completely dark. You notice that there's a light off in the distance, and you continue to make your way forward. Eventually, you make it to some sort of concrete room. Turning around, as you see a hole in the wall where you came from. Your guess is that it wasn't part of the initial design. I would hope not. You turn around to see a door. There being little to nothing in the room. You decide to move through the doorway. You find yourself in what looks like a basement. You turn about to discover in each direction there is a door. Boxes of supplies and debris litter the floor and corners of the room. Notice that there are several markings on the door and the floor, some of which scare you. You got a bad feeling about this place. Inspect the supplies. You walk to the room, browsing through the dust-covered storage. You find some rope in one of the boxes. It feels strong enough to touch and has minimal wear. You decide to take the rope. Good. I'll go through the middle door. You enter a room full of metal cages. Before you, in a hallway marked with questionable markings, you don't like the feeling you have about this place. Whatever was in these cages surely did not like being locked up. You notice that there's an animal in a cage on the left of the room, but from the dark stains on its fur, it is dead. Cautiously walk down the hallway, entering a room with 2 cell doors. Before you can do anything, a large hound leaps in front of you. The beast doesn't look very vicious, but one wrong move can surely be the end of you. Pull out the knife and prepare for an attack. The dog reacts and starts to growl at you. Of course. The hound dashes at you and sinks it. Even with the knife, you merely cut the beast before it knocks the knife out of your hands. You don't survive long and die a painful death. Your adventure ends here. Who's a good boy achievement? Yeah, not me, not you. We'll enter the right door this time. You enter a small room. There's a large cauldron in the center of the room and wood resting beneath. There's nothing on the shelves, as if someone cleaned this place out. You look into the pot, but find nothing in it. With nothing else to see, you exit the room. We'll go through the left door. Go back. We came through here. You walk up the steps. You enter a large room. The air is polluted with dust and spiderweb covers the walls and the ceiling. Where should you go now? Let's go to the far door. That is a spider. The door struggles to move, but you enter in what appears to be a spider's den. Really? The air is thick in this room. It is a mess of webs and body parts. You notice that there's a couple of items in the room that could be useful. If nothing else, there's a key on the ground, which you will no doubt need. Oh, of course. Before you can even act, a large spider falls from above. You have no doubt that it is hungry. Without hesitation, the spider attacks you. You pull out your knife and stab the spider when you can. Fortunately, the knife doesn't scare the spider, and it bites you with ease. You begin to lose feeling all over your body, and everything goes black. Your adventure ends here. Sam doesn't save you in this story achievement. That's a nice Easter egg. That's a wonderful Easter egg. I like that. We'll go upstairs this time. You discover what looks like a private library. There's a passageway before you and bookcases on the left and right. May I say, this looks like a wizard's tower of some kind. Maybe a spell gone wrong. That's what this story might be about. Browse the books. You take a moment to look at the books. Some of them catch your eye. Flipping through these pages, there's one in particular that has ink markings all over it. Raw energy is a powerful substance not to be trifled with. It is merely myth that such energies exist. One does not simply stumble upon a pillar of godly power. Even if such a fate is yours, bare hands cannot contain the force. It must be bent and channeled into a specially crafted vessel to carry it. There's been accounts across time of individuals possessing such power. Although they pass away as sand, their relics of power remain as powerful artifacts that nations around the world would fight for. Deception by music. There's a bent page marking a section of this book. You turn to it. The act of charming is not necessarily limited to the instrument, but how the musician goes about playing the given instrument. Some are definitely easier to use than others, and for a skill such as this, there are a few instruments recommended. The harp is one of these recommended instruments. From vicious dogs to shy unicorns, the soothing voice of a harp can calm the troubled heart. Of course, not all creatures can fall from this simple trick, but it can mean the difference between life and death in some situations. So that right there tells me I need some sort of musical instrument to ease that dog in the 2 jail cells in order to pass by it, because I feel like there's more to that room than what meets the eye. Rituals of the Ancients. You flip them until something grabs your attention. Pillars of stone. Years before current times, there were unique religious practices that revolved the Stonehenge. It is said that these stones are lined up in a special way and often organized in a circular pattern. Organizing the stones in this way unlocks an ancient power researchers still have trouble understanding. In the middle of the circle would be a stone or two for the keystone to rest on. This is the great mystery of the ancient practice from ancient records. It is written that the energies of the surrounding stones channel their power into the keystone. You stop recording because the next page of the book has been torn out. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to end this one here. I'll continue this in another portion of the game, but I think I've run out of time for this one. So thank you so much for joining me on this game, and I'll continue it again in another one. If you wouldn't mind, just leave me a comment or like down below. Tell me what you think about this game. Tell me if you want to see more of this game, because I do believe they're coming out with a second one very soon. So let me know what you guys think. And as always, we've reached the end of our time. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.